Here's your wrestling news for November 3rd, 2021. And your headlines for today include Jon Moxley enters inpatient alcohol rehab program, WWE throws several accusations regarding Bray Wyatt, shocking details have emerged, WWE drops hint for Brock Lesnar's next opponent, WWE superstar thanks Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and others for saving his life, new Twitter update from AEW talent fuels speculation of Kevin Owens' WWE exit, Jim Ross provides update after skin cancer diagnosis, wrestler hospitalized for a week after brutal explosion match with Atsushi Onita, and more. We are starting today with Jon Moxley, who's certainly had a unique life, one interesting enough to make into a memoir, but the latest chapter will be a difficult one for the former world champion. On social media, Tony Khan revealed to fans that Moxley has entered himself into an inpatient rehab program for alcohol and that Jon's focus will be on recovery from his drinking problems for now. Khan added that Moxley is a beloved member of the AEW family and that the company stands with him, his wife Renee, and their friends and family at this difficult time. Calling Moxley's action to seek help a very brave choice, the AEW president ended by leaving the helpline for SAMHSA, the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Our thoughts are with Moxley at this time, and we hope he is able to get through this rough patch, as he has a world of support from his friends, his employers, and the countless fans he's gathered over the years. Ever since Bray Wyatt was released from WWE this summer, there's been widespread speculation about the reasons for his departure. Recently, Ringside News had an exclusive from WWE sources saying the former Universal Champion deserved to be fired, and now new information has emerged about the company's reasoning. In an update, Fightful Select report that creative differences led to tensions between Wyatt and the WWE team, and when Bray didn't like the direction the company wanted to take his character in, he was sure to tell them about it. Lacking creative control, it was ultimately Vince McMahon's decision as to what Wyatt's character would do on screen. Fightful adds, creative was also told about some major frustration around the burned Fiend angle, especially the size, weight, and movement of the suit. Though Wyatt hasn't confirmed this himself, the creative team was told that he believed it was too heavy, was going to look bad, and it would be difficult to move inside it, so it was scrapped. As a WWE superstar, Wyatt needed to move freely in the ring, and had told creative that the suit was too cumbersome and he wouldn't be able to move well in it, and the idea was thrown out. Sean Ross Sapp notes that Bray wasn't the only one unhappy with his storyline and creative direction, as Randy Orton and others backstage were reportedly unhappy with the overall storyline, and neither man was happy with the outcome of their WrestleMania 37 match, which saw the finish changed just 2 days before the match occurred. Despite Wyatt being one of the company's most interesting stars and being in a 6-month storyline with Orton, Fightful confirmed that there was never a true creative endgame for the angle between the two former world champions and Alexa Bliss in what would be Bray's final feud for WWE. Having no ending plan is disconcerting at the best of times, but having no finish for a massive angle between two former world champions at the biggest show of the year is incredibly concerning for everyone involved. The finish of the match being changed resulted in Wyatt taking a hiatus from TV instead of Orton, who had initially planned on taking time off after WrestleMania. Instead, Orton started an angle with Riddle, eventually forming RK Bro, which has at least led to one of the more popular acts on Raw this year. Things may have worked out for Orton, but Sapp reports that multiple wrestlers approached the Viper and Wyatt at WrestleMania, expressing their own frustrations on the match being changed, and felt bad for the superstars who had to put up with it. As to why the finish got changed in the first place, sources within WWE told Sapp that Wyatt had been outspoken when he felt creative was bad, and this had only strained the relationship with Vince McMahon. The relationship was so strained that some believed McMahon simply didn't want Wyatt at all anymore because of the Fiend's comments about creative. Now Wyatt doesn't have to worry about WWE's creative, as the free agent has promised that when he breaks his silence, fans will get his side of the story, something wrestling fans are very anxious to hear. Ringside News was told by a tenured source close to the situation that Wyatt was difficult to get along with, but being outspoken was never an issue. Instead, this source says that Wyatt was hard to find when needed, and that when he had time off due to medical reasons, there was always an issue with his appointment, which led to more friction. Bray Wyatt's situation in WWE became one where the problems grew larger and larger, and he was eventually let go. At the time, talent was told that Bray's release was yet another budget cut, but the roster didn't buy it, as Wyatt was a big moneymaker for the company, selling a ton of merchandise, and the employees rightly believed there was much more to his release than the budget. Wyatt was released in late July and has since served his 90-day non-compete clause, and with the Bray Wyatt name owned by WWE, has rebranded himself as Windham. Windham Rotunda may one day tell all in a shoot interview and let his side of the story out, and after months of reports, the entire pro wrestling world is waiting to hear what the former Universal Champion has to say. On the post-Crown Jewel episode of SmackDown, Brock Lesnar went on a rampage, earning himself an indefinite suspension and a $1 million fine. Gone from TV for the time being, it's expected that Lesnar will be back in time for next year's Royal Rumble, as he's prominently featured in promotional material, and a rematch with Universal Champion Roman Reigns is expected for WrestleMania. The Tribal Chief isn't the only possible name for Lesnar, however, and on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said there was significance to last week's open challenge by Drew McIntyre, where he made Mustafa Ali submit to the Kimura Lock. The Kimura Lock is a move almost exclusively used by Lesnar in WWE, and after last crossing paths at WrestleMania 36, where Drew dethroned the Beast to become WWE Champion, the long-awaited rematch might finally have been teased last Friday night. In 2016, Lince Dorado signed with WWE as part of that year's Cruiserweight Classic, getting to the second round before being eliminated by Rich Swann. Since then, Dorado has worked with plenty of people in the ring, but there's two superstars in particular that have had a profound impact on the former 24/7 champion. In a tweet, Dorado spoke about being unable to teach wrestling in 2014 and that he had to make wrestling gear for others to support his 5-person family. Dorado added that two amazing people asked for gear, which he said saved his life, and they turned out to be none other than Charlotte Flair and Bayley. Thanking the pair, Dorado fired off a follow-up tweet showing some of the equipment he used to make gear that supported his family in their time of need. Dorado hasn't had any wins since July this year and has reportedly requested his release, but the High Flyer hasn't forgotten the two superstars who requested gear from him when his family were struggling. Dorado isn't the only one eyeing WWE's exit door, as Kevin Owens recently teased his impending departure on Raw. It's public knowledge that Owens' contract ends at the end of January 2022, and many believe the former Universal Champion is heading to AEW. On Raw, Owens said that he'll keep fighting no matter if it's for 3 months or 3 years, and that 3 months reference does line up for when his current deal will run out. In their latest Twitter bio change, the Young Bucks continued to tease a move, with their bio now saying MROW, a reference to their old group, the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. That group included the Bucks, Owens, and Adam Cole, and could reunite in AEW should the prizefighter join next year. Mount Rushmore was also referenced on Raw, as WWE Champion Big E said there was only room for one top name on Raw, a line that certainly had fans talking. Ultimately, we won't know until much later down the line if Owens remains a WWE superstar come next January, but until then, we expect plenty more teases from the likes of the Bucks, who would love to have the former Universal Champion on AEW's roster. Last month, Jim Ross broke the sad news that he has skin cancer and will be undergoing treatment to try and beat it. Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast, the AEW commentator gave an update, saying he'll have 22 radiation treatments, the first of which will be starting soon. JR added that he doesn't plan on missing any work for AEW, which his doctors are in agreement with, and is pleased that there will be no chemotherapy as part of his treatment. Ross also spoke about his late wife Jan, who would have been 60, and said that she would have spotted the little spot on his ankle earlier and things would have been taken care of by now. Despite this diagnosis, JR remains to be in good spirits, and we're continuing to send our best wishes to the Oklahoma native at this time. And we're ending today with hardcore legend Matt Tremont, who had a Halloween to remember last week. Facing off against Atsushi Onita, the pair had an incredibly violent exploding ring death match, one far more impressive than what Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley did earlier this year. The match between Tremont and Onita wasn't a technical wrestling classic, but that was to be expected, and after taking a monumental beating from the Japanese icon, Tremont will be hospitalized for up to a week, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Johnson explained that the severe burns to Tremont's body will keep him hospitalized, as Tremont was directly in line of several fiery explosions, as well as exploding light tubes and a barbed wire-covered landmine outside the ring. The match finished with Onita dropping Tremont on a barbed wire-wrapped sheet of plywood that was on fire, and despite the burns to his body and wounds from the wire, Tremont cut a post-match promo on Onita. Onita was once the promoter of FMW, the deathmatch-focused promotion who gained extreme popularity in Japan in the 1990s, and even at 64, Onita proved he could still show Tremont a thing or two about deathmatch wrestling. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.